Good afternoon. Opening variants and a couple of tips for you. So the first motion, the opening movement, seems rather straightforward compared to more complicated figures and postures that we do, but it is considered a test. I should explain. My teacher's teacher, Master Lung Chi Pang in Hong Kong, had a school of internal martial arts. Not just Tai Chi, but other internal martial arts. Most of his students were professional teachers of martial arts. He did not charge any money for people to come to his classes, but they had to be recommended, first of all, and secondly, they had to be able to pass a test of the first movement, in which Mr. Lung would appraise their level of Tai Chi, because it is said that the first movement contains the qualities of the practitioner. I'm explaining myself badly, but I think you can understand what I mean. Now, the opening motion is therefore everything inside has to move and be connected. Okay? Now I'm going to give you two tips here to help that feeling, to help the sensation of connectedness. Now the first one is a kind of a little bit amusing, let's say. You know, when you walk in the city, if you live in the city and you walk in the city, probably this has happened to you at some point, you're walking along, enjoying yourself, and then suddenly, you step on some chewing gum, okay? And you raise your foot and it sticks, and the chewing gum is like, that kind of feeling, you know, and you're trying to get it off and it sticks and like this, okay? So, how can we apply that in Tai Chi? Watch closely. Chewing gum from the floor to the base of my palms. I stretch the chewing gum and it pulls itself back. Stretch as if I'm pulling columns of chewing gum, or elastic if you prefer. I know I'm being a little silly here, but it is an image that gives a feeling, a sensation. There's a resistance, okay? Now when you're moving in space in Tai Chi, we need to feel a resistance, as if the air is as thick as water. When you feel that resistance, practice like that if you don't already, you will see an increase in your sensation, an increase in the Chi flow. So, the resistance is there. Now, here's another tip to add to this even more feeling. So, you come up, you sink down, up and down at the same time. And now, when you're pressing down, here's another visual image for you, as if you're pressing on a beach ball, okay? You're pressing on a beach ball, and you're pushing it down into the water. This should give you another feeling of the motion, the movement, the body in action in this first opening movement. Okay? You combine those two together and you get, well, you can't really see, but something like this. Gives a really nice feeling. Now, another thing, when you raise the hands up, we're going to stretch open the palms from the inside, from the center of the palms, from the Lao Gong. Open the palms like this as you raise up. And then you're going to relax and press down, okay? So a few tips for you to add some more depth of sensation and feeling in the first movement. Now, I don't know if you've seen a video I made recently called Common Sense. It's about common sense. And I explained there in that video about the breathing patterns in Tai Chi. Now, there are two basic schools of thought on that I've explained, but I will cover it just very briefly here. Those who say you should match the breath with the movements, and those who say you should never do that. Okay? Now, I'm from the school of never do that, with exceptions. You can do it exceptionally, especially certain sequences of the form. That's okay. But usually when you practice, you want to completely forget about the breathing. The breathing will take care of itself. Okay? If you practice the postures in a deep way, with a lot of sung, the breathing, the diaphragm will do its own job, and you will develop a normal abdominal breathing, which is what we're looking for. That's the first major thing in breathing, is to bring everything down here. I'm using the whole of the lung area, but this is the motor. Okay? Now, this first motion, we can use this as a very simple breathing exercise. If you can keep in mind the idea of not matching the breath to the movement. We don't want to strain the breath, and we don't want to strain the chi in the movement. It has to be natural, okay? Tai Chi is natural. We're looking always for the natural. So, for example, here, you can raise up and you breathe in. Now, the speed at which you move is going to be defined by your breath, not by the movement. Okay, so if you don't have a deep breath, you have to go a little bit faster. If you have a deeper breath, you can go slower. And really take a big in-breath. And then when you come back up, you press down, you breathe out. After that, forget about it. Just go into the motions. Concentrate on the postures. Concentrate on your movement. Okay? But the first one, very simple breathing pattern. Breathing in. Breathing out. Like that. Please never force the breath. The breath should be never forced, and you should never hear someone breathing. There can be exceptions to that. But in general, in Tai Chi, as in yoga, as in meditation, you should never hear someone's breath. That means it's forced. Except when you're doing, Fajing explosive movements, that's a different story. Okay? Because then we have breath, sound, and many things combined to give explosive energy. So that's the opening move. Very important. Hope you get to add these things to it, and enjoy your practice. See you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.